Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's session. Today, we're going to be talking about adding drawer boxes, cabinet doors, and how to change different profiles and different color schemes. I currently have a tall module. It's one module with 3 openings. I have an 18-inch wide module, a 24-inch wide module, and an 18-inch module. So let's go ahead and populate these items. As we know, by default, everything is going to be situated in white. So let's go ahead and start populating a couple of these things. So once I got my module in place, I'm going to click on my parts and cleats, and I'm going to adhere this to the back wall by adding a cleat to all my tall modules. Once that's done, let's start populating some cabinet drawers and doors. So let's start with the middle module. I'm going to click on my categories, parts, and drawers. Underneath my drawers, I have 4 different types of drawer boxes. I've got a dovetail drawer box, 16 millimeters, with a front. The next section here is I have a 16 millimeter 5-piece drawer box with a front. Please note you can take a look here on my screen underneath the local browser that this is a 5/8 and it's not assembled. Please note whenever we use the 16 millimeter or 5/8 drawer boxes regardless will always be in white. So let's go ahead and do this. This is going to be our standard drawer box that majority of our dealers will use. I'll use a 12-inch high front. I'm going to drag it into my module. I see my magnet and I'm going to let go. I'm going to go ahead and just drop it in. And my drawer front populates. So let's go ahead and add a note so that everybody is aware. So this is going to be our 5-piece drawer box. And this comes only in white. Comes only in white. This is going to be our 5/8, or also known as 16 millimeter drawer box. Perfect. Next is we're going to add another type of drawer box. We also have our 5/16 or 8 millimeter drawer box. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab the 12-inch high fronts. With what's great about the 8 millimeter drawer boxes is that these drawer boxes can be the exact same color as the actual interior and closet structure. So let's add a note here so we know. This is going to be our 5-piece drawer box. Comes in other colors other than white. And this is our 5/16 inch, also our 8 millimeter drawer box. So that's the second type. The next type is a scoop dovetail drawer box, but again, these scoop drawer boxes, as you can see, does not come with a front. These are great for pantries or for reaching closets where you don't really want a front and the top is slightly exposed. So we have 2 different types of drawer boxes here. To complete my drawer box, I'm going to click on my parts, shelves, and a shelf fixed. We always want to have a fixed shelf half overlay. So now I've got a fixed shelf at the very top of my drawer bank. And let's go ahead and start populating a couple more items here. Let's populate something on the left-hand side here. I'll just throw in a fixed shelf and a couple adjustable shelves here. Okay, and I'll do the same thing on this side. And again, these are just examples here that we're trying to do. Next is we're going to populate a door front. So let's go ahead to our parts. In our parts, we have panels, shelves, drawers, floating shelves, but at the very bottom, we have C-door, door connect between fixed shelves. This is the primary one that I like to use 99% of the time, or majority, you will be using this as opposed to connected between the panels. If I connected it between the panels, it would go all the way closer to the floor. But for this purpose here, we only want our doors on the very top or bottom. So I'm going to click on my C-door, door connect between fixed shelves. I'm going to drag this into my elevation view. I see my magnet. I'm going to let go of my mouse, and I can drop it in. And the same thing on this side as well. If I want to keep moving it, I can move my cursor up and down, and I can change the location to wherever my drawers are going or my doors are going to be. Please note, that if your module is 24 inches wide or less, you can change it to have a one-piece door. Because this is a small area, the program automatically defaults it to one door. I got a hinge on the left here and a hinge on the left here. Let's take care of the doors first. That's the easiest thing to do. I'm going to left click on the door. I can see my green boxes into place. I'm going to right click, go to see door, go into my attributes, and now I can actually change the hinge style from in our variables. The hinge is currently situated on the left. I can click on the drop down button and click on the right. I'm going to click on apply and take a look. It's all going to change. Now I have my hinge on the right. So now they are quite uniform. Okay, so let's take a look at a presentation and perspective view. So here is my current cabinetry that I have in place. Now, let's start changing the profile. So everything's going to be all situated in white thus far. If I want to change my color schemes and profiles, I typically like to do it all at once. So I'm going to click on my items, options, and double check that global is selected. I can click on each individual part, and I know I can click on each individual part because if I move my dialog box away, I can see that what's currently highlighted and what's currently selected. Same thing here. If I click on panel on the left on my T module, it's right there in green. My panel on the left, tall module. But let's select everything and its entirety. So I'm going to double click on global. Everything should be selected. Let's take a peek. Everything's in green. So everything's been selected. At the very bottom of this box is where you're going to change everything and its entirety all at the same time. There are several different sections to keep in mind. The one thing that I want to keep in mind is that whenever it says edge banding, I don't want to do anything. I would leave those properties alone. So anything that says edge banding, I kind of want to leave this section alone. Therefore, there's only the top portion and the bottom portion that we got to populate. Whenever we do our doors and drawer fronts, there's always going to be two sections. For example, let's go from up to down. So first one is going to be our undermount soft close slides. Correct. We want everything to be undermount soft close slides so we can leave it alone. The next is going to be our door profile. But take a look. There's a door profile and there's a drawer profile. So keep that in mind. So right now we're going to just change the doors. We have two doors in place. We have our left door and right door. So I can select on my option code. I can click on the drop down box for EUR for Euro. I can click on my Brooklyn series. I can click on my 5-piece shaker or 5-piece glass doors or the slim shaker. Alternatively, if I don't want to use the drop down button, I can go to my right hand side where it's got a whole bunch of illustrations as well. So let's say that I want to change it to a 5-piece shaker as an example. I'll keep it to 5PS. This is going to be for my doors. The next populates is my TFL. Right now, TFL1 is selected, but we can certainly go and change it to, for example, TFL2. So this brings up to my new colors. So finish TFL level 2. The default is going to be our natural Vincenza. I can go ahead and click on one of my other options here. Let's go ahead and maybe try TFL3. TFL3. Now I can take a look here. The default is going to be barn oak, but let's say that I want to pick Jackson pine. So let's click on Jackson pine. And right now we have our 5-piece. It's going to be all in TFL level 3. And then after that, the colors are going to be JP, which is our Jackson pine, which we populated. Below this is we have a pull option. By default, we're going to have no handles for our pull options. Again, I can click on my drop down button, or I can go take a look at one of my illustrations here. Let's just go ahead and pick the next one available, which is 136-94-600, 32 millimeters matte nickel round knobs. Okay, so I'm just going to click on OK just for the time being, just so that everybody can see. I'm going to click on my perspective view. And let's take a look here. So now if we just zoom in ever so slightly, I can see that I have an all in Jackson Pine. I can see my two handles right here where my cursor is, and everything else is still going to be in white. Again, we're just doing our door profiles, which is exactly what we want. So let's go back into items and options. All right, next section is our finish. So let's click on here. It says multiple. So I'm going to unclick that. So it says multiple. I'm going to click on the plus button on finish. There are two finishes. We have our first finish, and we also have our second finish. There's probably a reason why there's two different types of codes. So let's go ahead and click on the first one, and we're going to leave it as TFL1, which is going to be our white. And there's something wrong here. Like, why is there two TFLs? But let's come back to that in just a moment. Next is we have our drawer profile. In our drawer profile here, again, this is going to be the two drawers that we have here. We have our 5-piece 8 millimeters, and we have our 5-piece 16 millimeters. Well, I already know that the 5-piece 16 millimeters only comes in white. But let's change everything so that the drawer fronts are all in Jackson Pine. So I'm going to click on my drawer fronts. We're going to click on 5-piece shaker. Finish. I'm going to change this to a level 2. And in level 2, we have our choice selections, but let's make it the same Jackson Pine. So the same thing, we're going to make it to TFL level 3. So we'll go click the drop down, click on level 3. And now we can select our Jackson Pine. We'll keep with the same door handle, which is our 136-94-600. We'll click on that. And now everything should be all changed. So I have my door profiles to Jackson Pine, and now I have my drawer profiles all to Jackson Pine. We'll click on OK. We'll click on our perspective view. Now you can see that just my fronts are all in Jackson Pine. Now let's examine this a little bit further here. I'm going to open these doors just so that everybody can see. I'm going to open up, right click here, attributes, and I'm going to open up this drawer box. Click on my variables. And now I can see here, open drawer bracket 1. So let's change this so that I can have an extension of 12 inches. So now I'm extending this out 12 inches. We'll click on apply and OK. And I can actually see right in the drawing that my carcass is in white and everything else is still in Jackson Pine. Let's do this drawer box. Let's right click it, go to attributes. Again, you can do this right from the rendering, or you can do this on the elevation view. We'll click on variables and we'll open this up. And we'll do 8 inches because the other one below it is going to be in 12. Click on apply and OK. So you can see that this is a different color. It's because our 8 millimeter drawer boxes don't come in white at all. So it's going to go to the next level, which is our level 2. So that is why we have two different types of finishes. We have white, and we also have this brown color here. So let's go ahead and change this color here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my items and options again. I already know that that one color is going to be a brown color. So let's go down to finishes. So I don't need to change our door profile, and I don't need to change our, door profile nor our drawer profile. So let's click on finish. I know that everything else is going to be in level 1, but right here, level 2. Well, we don't really want this to be in level 2. We want this to be in white. But again, we don't have white in 8 millimeters. So you're always going to have two different colors. And that's the sole reason why you're going to have different color options. If you wanted everything to be in white, then I would subtract the 8 millimeter drawer boxes and go ahead and go into my categories, my parts and drawers, and go into my 16 millimeters. And now I'm going to pick my 12-inch high front, drag it in, and drop. I can go back to my options, items and options, or I can leave everything the way it is. And I just want to change just this one item here because every time you drag and drop new items, it will always go back to the defaults. Okay, so right now everything is back in the default. So that's why I always like to do my colors at the very, very end. So let's go ahead and try this again. Items, options. All right, so everything's global selected and you can see everything's in green. Let's go from top to finish again. We want all the finishes to be in white, which is correct. Door profile. We want to change our door profiles to our 5-piece shaker. Next, for the finish, we're going to change it to our level 3 because we wanted our Jackson Pine. The next one below that is the actual finish selection because obviously barn oak is our standard and default. We'll click on Jackson Pine. And then we'll go ahead and click on one of our handles. Again, you can choose no handle if you want to provide your own, or choose a handle for the time being. At least you can see it in the rendering portion. We're leaving slides alone, and we're leaving all the edge banding alone for now. We don't touch anything in the middle. Next section is going to be our drawer profile for their drawer boxes. So we have 2 of them, if you remember. We're going to click on our 5-piece shaker. And now, next below that is going to be our color choices. So we're going to click on level 3. And now the actual specified color, which is going to be a Jackson Pine. And then again, our handle. Let's click on OK. And let's examine again. Click on perspective view. Everything is going to be in 5-piece shaker, as you can kind of see from the grooves ever so slightly here. Let's give easy render just a minute to load. There you go. Now you can actually see the 5-piece shakers for our door and drawer fronts. So let's open up these drawers again. Let's click on the bottom one. So now these drawers are going to be in 8mm. Click on my variables. Let's open the drawer. And sorry, my apologies. I meant to say 16mm because it's all going to be in white. Now, if we wanted to change it, I know this is a MDF 12-inch, no problem at all. Let's take a look at our properties. So I did click on the 5/8. So my apologies. I thought I clicked on 8mm, but we did click on 16mm. And remember, everything in 16mm is going to be all in white. Same thing over here at the very top or the very bottom. Let's just double check. And again, my 16mm is all in white. So now I've changed this all to 16mm, and now they're all concise. And that's going to be 5/8 inches. So again, we have to make a note about which type of drawer boxes we're putting in so that we can change the colors. Now, let's just say now that they're all in 16mm drawer boxes, now let's go ahead and change this to 8mm drawer boxes. And we'll see what the difference is. We're going to delete that. So both deleted. That is a little tip. If you delete the bottom drawer box, everything else in the actual tower will also delete itself. So now let's go ahead and choose our 5/16. And we're going to change this to 8mm. And the same thing for the bottom. 8mm, and we'll change this to 5/16. And let's see what happens here. So let's go ahead to my parts, drawers. We're going to scroll down to our 8mm drawer boxes. We'll do the 12-inch high front and we'll drop it in. Left click once, dropped it in. And let's do this again. All right, so let's go into items, options. Double click on global, make sure that everything's selected, and up to down again. So door profile, that's kept the same, which is correct. Drawer profile, we're going to change it to 5-piece shaker. We're going to change our finish from and to our TFL level 3 because we wanted our Jackson Pine. So there's my Jackson Pine, and again, my drawer handle. Now, we know that we cannot have our finishes all in white. So that's why you have this little section right here where it says finish. There's multiple sections. So you have to think, okay, there's two types of finishes because one of the finishes has to go with the actual 8mm drawer box. And that's this second line right here. I already know that 8mm drawer boxes don't come in white. So it automatically defaults it to level 2. So I'm going to leave my first section all in TFL white because the carcass is going to be all in white. But take a look here, finish. I want to match this with my Jackson Pine. I'm going to left click once, go to my level 3. And you can see that, yes, it is exactly what we want to do. We want to change our drawer boxes to our Jackson Pine. We don't want to change it to a different color. We're going to left click on our TFL level 3, which is perfect, is selected. Barred Oak has been selected. We're going to click on Jackson Pine. We'll click on OK. And let's take a perspective view. And when we open this up, we should have our Jackson Pine right on the inside as well. Right click, attributes. And you can actually see right on the information bar that now the 8mm drawer boxes have now changed and have the exact same color as the actual front. Let's open this up so everybody can see. We'll open up 12 inches. And you can see that this now matches. So in conclusion, for your drawer boxes, if you want to keep the drawer boxes white, use the 16mm 5-piece drawer boxes. If you want to change the colors of the drawer boxes to something other than white, then use the 8mm drawer boxes. You can always do a cross-reference. If you go into our dealer portal, we can click on our products, and we can click on our door and drawer fronts. You can see that our TFL doors are right here, and you can see what we can and cannot do. Same thing with 5-piece and 5-piece glass doors. If we click on products and go into our drawer boxes, we can see our dovetail drawer box specs, scoop dovetail drawer boxes, but here is where we want to take a look at our 8mm and 16mm. If I click on my 16mm drawer boxes, you can cross-reference and say, it looks like it says that max opening is 36 inches wide. Available colors are in level 1, but nothing available in level 2, 3, nor 4. Let's go back out one. If we go to our 8mm drawer boxes, we can see that we have a max opening of 36 inches wide, but take a look. White is not available, black is not available, but everything else for the inside of the drawer boxes are available. Blue is not available, charred nor concrete. And Patrice. We always want to tell our dealers to cross-reference with the actual dealer portal so you understand what options are available and what are not available. I hope this helps everybody changing colors and door profiles and drawer profiles. And again, we always want to go into our items and options lists. If we want to individually change one item, instead of clicking items and options and selecting everything, we can manually select it right on our elevation view. If I wanted to change this specific drawer front right here, door front, make sure that it's selected here. I'll just zoom in. Sometimes if it doesn't click on properly, left click off screen and then just try again. There it is. Right click, I want the C door, which is correct. I can go to features and options. Now the window pops up, but instead of clicking global, I know that one door has been selected because nothing else has been highlighted. And I can, again, behind my dialog box is the actual C door that I actually want to change. So I can actually change that one specific door to a different color. So in case I can change it from, I can keep it to 5-piece shaker, but instead let's change it to, for example, level 2. Level 2's default is going to be our natural Vincenza. And let's now change it to Hacienda Black as an example. And pull option kept it the same. We'll click on OK, and let's take a look at perspective view. And now I've individually changed that one door profile. I hope this video helps with everybody in terms of door and drawer profiles and color changes.